Supplier Card Information Window Profile View. The Card Information Window Profile View is where you enter basic information for the card, such as addresses, contact information and the card ID for each card. If you have contacts who maintain, for example, a head office and multiple warehouses and regional offices, you can enter up to 5 locations for each card. You can enter a postal address including country name, telephone number, email's address and other contact information for each location. When you create transactions, you can choose one of the 5 locations to use the information for that particular location on the transaction. MYOB Premier Range. Only if you use the multi-currency feature, you can assign the currency used when dealing with the contact. Field Descriptions. AP Balance. This field displays the current outstanding balance of your purchases with a selected supplier. To open the Analyze Payables window and view a list of transactions that make up this balance, click the zoom arrow. Card Type. Choose a type of card: customer, supplier, employee or personal from the list. Note that you don't have to create individual suppliers if you don't want to. But if your business buys any goods or services, you need to track these transactions for financial reporting. You need to set up at least one supplier card called Cash Supplier or Cash Purchases. Designation. Choose between individual for an individual person or a specific company contact and company for the card displayed in this window. Inactive Card. Select this option if you want to make this card inactive. This means the card will not appear in selection lists and will be excluded from some reports. If you inactivate a card, existing transactions won't be affected, and you can enter new transactions as usual. Last name and first name or name. Enter the last name and the first name of the individual or the name of the company you want to add to your card file. Card ID. Enter up to 15 alphanumeric characters to identify this card. If you do not enter a card ID, none will appear in this field. Currency. Choose the currency used in transactions with this card. Location. You can enter up to 5 addresses for the card displayed in this window. Choose from addresses 1 to 5. Address details: city, state, country, postcode. Telephone, fax, email and web. Enter details in the phone number 1, number 2, number 3, fax number, email's address, website address fields. Salutation. Enter a name or title you wish to use in the greeting of a personalized letter for the person or company whose card you're viewing. Contact. If you regularly deal with a particular contact person at this supplier's business, enter that person's name here. The name you enter here can be used as the addressee for personalized letters. Print. Click to print the card list detail report for this card. Card Details View. The Card Information Window. Card Details View is where you can enter extended notes for a card, assign identifiers and enter information in custom lists and fields. You can use the Card Details View to link graphics or images to cards. Field Descriptions. Card Name. The name of the card appears in the top left corner. AP Balance. This field displays the current outstanding balance of your purchases with a selected supplier. To view a list of transactions that make up this balance, click the zoom arrow. Picture. If you have a picture, logo or other graphic image for the person or company associated with this card, click this area to open the picture information window, and link the image to this card. The image you select should be in bitmap format. If you've renamed or moved a graphic file you've previously linked, graphic selected cannot be displayed will appear in the picture field. Notes. Use this field to enter additional information about the person or company whose card you're viewing. Identifiers. Enter up to 10 identifiers for the card you're viewing in this field. If you want to view or add to the list of identifiers you can use, click Identifiers. The Select Identifiers window will appear. Custom list number 1, 2, 3. For each of these 3 fields, you can enter a custom list selection for the card you're viewing. Custom field number 1, 2, 3. For each of these 3 fields, you can enter a custom field selection for the card you're viewing. Buying Details View. The card information window buying details view is available only when the card type is supplier. You can use the buying details view to record the credit limit and terms the selected supplier has extended to your company, along with entries that will make it easier and faster for you to create quotes, purchase orders and bills for the supplier. The buying information you enter here will be used as default information when you enter purchase transactions for a supplier. The buying details view can also be used for the following: tracking time billing activities, premier range only, specifying tax information, entering credit terms assigned to you by suppliers, field descriptions. Supplier name. The name of the supplier appears in the top left corner of the window. AP balance. This field displays the current outstanding balance of your purchases with a selected supplier. To view a list of the transactions that make up this balance, click the zoom arrow. Purchase layout. Choose the default purchase layout that will be used when enter a quote, order or bill for this supplier. The choices are service, item, professional and miscellaneous. You can change this for individual purchases in the transaction window. Printed form. If you use a particular pre-printed or customized form for the purchase documents you create for this supplier, select the default form you want to use for the purchase layout you've chosen. Note that this field doesn't appear if you chose no default or miscellaneous in the purchase layout field. Purchase order delivery. Select the delivery method you will use to send purchase documents to the supplier. For example, if you usually email purchase orders to this supplier, select to be emailed. If you don't print or email purchase orders for this supplier, select already printed or sent. Note that this field doesn't appear if you chose no default or miscellaneous in the purchase layout field. Expense account. Choose the expense account that will be used to track purchases from this supplier. Payment memo. Enter the information you would like to automatically appear as the memo when you write a check to a supplier using the Spend Money window, Pay Bills window, Bank Register or To-Do list. You may use a reference number such as an account number, for example, that identifies you to the payee. Purchase comment. Choose a comment that will appear on purchase orders for this supplier. Click the Select from List arrow to see a list of all the standard comments that have been set up for your company. Shipping method. Choose the shipping method that will apply most often to orders you purchase from this supplier. Click the Select from List arrow to choose from the list of shipping methods set up in your company file. Supplier billing rate excluding tax, premier range only. If you use Premier's time billing features and the supplier provides consulting or subcontracting services to you, you can enter an hourly billing rate for this supplier, if you've established one. This rate can be used to calculate charges for the activities the supplier performs. Cost per hour, Premier range only. Enter the cost of an hour of the supplier's time. This information will be used to calculate sales history for time billing activities. Credit limit. Enter the credit limit the supplier has set for your company. Available credit. Your company's available credit with this supplier is displayed based on your credit limit and accounts payable balance. Currently past due. The amount you are past due with this supplier is displayed based on the credit limit, credit terms and accounts payable balance. Tax ID number. Enter this supplier's tax ID number. Tax code. Use this field to specify the tax code that applies most often to purchases from this supplier. This tax code will appear as the default entry for all transactions entered for the supplier. If you wish, you can change the tax code for individual transactions as you enter them. Freight tax code. Use this field to specify the tax code that applies most often to freight charges on purchases made from this supplier. This tax code will appear as the default entry for all transactions entered for the supplier. If you wish, you can change the freight tax code for individual transactions as you enter them. Use supplier's tax code. Select this option if you want the supplier's tax code to override an item's tax code in an item purchase or the allocation account tax code in a non-item purchase from this supplier. Supplier Terms Information section. If this supplier allows your company to make purchases on account, enter the terms that will apply most often to those transactions. You can change the terms for individual purchases if you like. When you create a set of default terms using the credit terms information fields here, the terms you select will be applied only to the supplier displayed in this window. If you wish, you can create a set of default terms for all new supplier records in your company file. To do this, open the Credit Terms window by clicking Terms in the Purchases view of the Preferences window. Payment is due. Choose the payment due method that is used for this supplier. The choices are COD, prepaid, in a given number of days, on a day of the month, number of days after EOM end of month, and day of month after EOM discount day's date. If the supplier offers a discount for prompt payment, indicate when you have to make payment in order to claim the discount. Depending upon your selection for payment as due, this field will be labeled either discount days or discount date. If discount days appears, enter either the number of days after the sale date that payment must be made in order to receive a discount. If discount date appears, select the day of the month by which payment must be made in order to receive the discount. Balance due days date. If the field balance due days appears, enter the number of days that are allowed after the sale date before the transaction must be paid. If the field balance due date appears, select the day of the month by which the payment must be made. % discount for early payment. Enter the discount percentage this supplier offers to your company if you pay a transaction balance on or before the transaction's discount due date. Volume discount %. If your company receives a volume discount on items purchased from this supplier, enter the discount percentage. This discount will appear as a default entry in the Purchases window for all the items you buy from this supplier. Contact Log View. The Card Information window Contact Log View is where you can view the contacts that have been recorded for the selected card, and where you can add new contact records. To add a new log entry for a card, click New Log Entry. Field Descriptions. Card Name. The name of the card appears in this field. AP Balance. This field displays the current outstanding balance of your purchases with a selected supplier. To view the transactions that make up this balance, click the zoom arrow. Dated from to. Enter the date range for the contacts you want to view. Date column. This column shows the date each contact was made. Time column. This column shows elapsed time for each contact, if you've entered that information. Recontact column. This column shows the date you set to recontact the supplier, employee, or personal contact. Notes column. This column shows the notes you recorded about this contact, if any. Print. Click to print the contact log report displaying information about all the contacts currently displayed in the contact log view. New log entry. Click to create a new log entry for this card. Edit log entry. Click to edit a log entry for this card. History view. The Card Information window History view is available only for customer, supplier or employee cards. You can use the History view to view monthly sales and purchases balances for your customers and suppliers, and to view an employee's sales history view suppliers. When you record purchases, your MYOB software automatically tracks the transactions for your suppliers. This information appears in the history view of the supplier card, and can be used to analyze your purchases and monitor trends in your buying habits. Field descriptions. Card name. The name of the card. AP balance. This field displays the current outstanding balance of your purchases with a selected supplier. FY current year. Displays sales information for supplier. The annual total is displayed below the monthly totals. FY previous years or next year. Sales history for supplier is kept for the current year, next year and up to 5 previous years. Click the right and left arrows to view sales information for the year you want. Supplier since. Enter the date of the first sale to the supplier. Last purchase date. The last date of a purchase to the supplier is displayed. Last payment date. The last payment made date to this supplier is displayed. Average days to pay. This field shows the average number it's taken you to pay the supplier for all purchases. Highest purchase amount. The highest purchase order amount for all purchases made from this supplier is displayed. Highest AP balance. The highest accounts payable balance that you've accumulated with this supplier is displayed.